I'm 19 years old. I've made over 212,000 Rand in the past 3 years over various businesses. These are all the screenshots for proof. However, I'm not making this video to brag. I'm making it to share 6 crucial lessons that, if I'm being honest with myself, took me way too long to learn. It took me 3 years to learn these lessons, and they're also part of the real reason why people around our age have a problem with just getting started. So, like I said, the person between 17 and 24 always stuck in this loop of not knowing when to start. There's the 16-year-old sportsman who won't watch his game tape because it hurts its ego. There's the 18-year-old stuck in a YouTube loop looking for the perfect side hustle to start. And then there's the 23-year-old who's gone through all of this and is just looking for the perfect time to start. And the truth that you really need to come into realization with here is that getting started, and it's terrifying to realize, but it's the fact that getting started is always going to look bad, period. The first time you do something, you will always look bad doing it. It's literally called the J curve principle. It's the law of improvement. The second you adopt a new habit or start a business, your performance will drop by 20 or 30%. You will lose money, your technique will suck, and your first launch is probably going to flop. That's the truth. So now the action piece or the action item or the action question that you need to be willing to ask yourself before I jump into the list of lessons is that, are you willing to look bad? Are you willing to suck at something before you can become good at it? If the answer is no, don't start. You should probably even click off this video. But if the answer is yes, internalize that and understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel. However, right now, there's no light. You're going to suck at it. So here are the 6 crucial lessons that I learned, and they're not in any order. One, you don't always have to be the boss. You need to get the figment of being the CEO out of your head. If you cannot humble yourself to learn under authority, no one else will respect yours. Now, authority doesn't just come with age or credibility or achievement. It's literally learning something from a customer. If one of your 16-year-old customers comes and tells you your product could be improved by one, two, and three, actually have a review and have a look at it and see whether or not that's something that's worth investing in or pursuing further. However, if you're gonna walk around thinking that your shit doesn't stink or you're on some sort of high horse, nobody will respect you in the long run. And to be honest, whatever venture it is or whatever vertical it is that you're in won't go very far. This next one is crucial, right? Protect your money. I think the Arabic proverb goes, don't spend in evil what you prayed for in goodness. And this one I realized too late and it cost me. So when you start seeing results, when you start making 10, 20, 30,000 Rand a month or whatever the number it is that may be for you, don't now go outside and go to the clubs and then go party and then just flaunt. Don't do that, because you're trying to accumulate something here. You're not trying to get rich quick. You're trying to build longevity and wealth for the upcoming generations, and so that you're good for the rest of your life. However, that won't happen if you do not protect your money. Okay, the third one is kill the shiny object syndrome. If you've watched The Matrix, you've seen the lady in the red dress. That is your nightmare. You should make that your nightmare. The shiny object syndrome will be the next best thing that your friend comes and tells you after you've been working on this one vertical for 6 months, right? You've been working on dropshipping, you've been working on e-com, you've been working on automation, you've been working on whatever it may be, marketing, a marketing agency, and then your friend comes and tells you about this new BPO business method that you guys can make money from. Focus on one vertical. I cannot stress this enough, because if you try to be an agency with too many different verticals, you'll be good at none of them, right? You know the quote, a jack of all trades is a master of none. So focus on one thing at a time. The next one is you need to ignore the critics, plain and simple. There has never been a statue made for world's best critic, and that's because they do not matter. Like I said in the beginning, you will suck and there will be critics. However, You need to ignore those external voices and focus on what you've got in front of you and focus on the vision that you've planted in your head. Ignore the critics. This next one may be controversial, however, I strongly am starting to realize the importance of it. You need to do it for yourself. The gurus, the online gurus, the online motivation gurus will tell you do it for your family, do it for your mom, do it for your sister. Motivation and willpower is an intrinsic thing. So therefore, you cannot source it from an extrinsic source or an extrinsic, whatever it may be, right? It needs to come from within. You need to do it for yourself. You need to do it for the betterment of your future self, right? Not for your family, not for your mom, your cousin, your girlfriend, or whatever it may be. Because if we're being honest with each other, those people will only be served, and the resources that you want to give to those people will only be given to them once you take action for yourself. I'm not sure if that makes sense. However, you need to do it for yourself. You need to find a reason as to why it is important to you and not why it's important to the people that you love and the people around you. Okay, and last but definitely not least, you need, and I can't stress this enough, you need to gouge greed out of your soul, your eyes, whatever it may be. You need to just rid yourself of all greed. I lost almost half of that 212,000 in less than 4 days purely because of greed. I thought I saw an opportunity. I thought I analyzed a good opportunity. I took the bet and I got eight, right? I got completely and utterly bulldozed just because of greed. In hindsight, it was purely because of greed. So forget greed. Once you start making the money, once you start seeing progress in whatever vertical you're pursuing, you need to remember that don't get greedy with it, right? Because as God gives, He can also take. So just cut greed out at the legs, at the knees, wherever it may be, but do not get greedy. And that's it right there. Those are the six lessons I wish I knew when I started, right? And I'm not saying this from a perspective of some sort of guru and I've figured it all out and I've made it. Not at all. Not even close to where I want to be, right? But I'm definitely further than the person who's still at the beginning. And that's the thing. Wherever it may be, don't ever tell yourself that you cannot help someone because you definitely know more than someone who is one, two, three steps behind you. You may know less than the person who is at 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, but you definitely know more than the person who is still at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, right? Or you know more than the person who is still at 100, 200, 300. You can tell that person how to make 1,000. Same way I can tell you how to make 10, 20, 30, 40. Don't ever rid yourself of the opportunity to help someone in need. You know more, there is a knowledge gap. And if there's a knowledge gap, there is something that they can learn, meaning there is something that you can give to them, just like how I'm doing right now. Other than that, see you soon. I hope those six lessons made a difference and you're gonna go out and just crush it now. Cheers.